Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Sylvester, the ambassador for 805 Connect, and welcome to another 805 conversation. These conversations are new for us. It's something new for 2015. We're really excited to bring another interesting person for you get to know better. And Chris Foley has joined us, but a little bit of housekeeping first. If you have a technical issue, audio or anything like that, just go ahead and type in the question area, and we've got someone who can help you with that. We will be recording and posting this later. You can, there's over on the side of your window where the GoToMeeting is, there's a place called questions, and Linda has learned how to do that. Hello, Linda. You can type your questions in there, and then we'll answer those at the end, all right? And then we're also going to, I know some people are following us online, can't join us, so we're using the hashtag 805conversations. You can go ahead and use that. We've got it on each one of the slides, so if you forget, you could go ahead and use that. We'd appreciate getting a little social love out there as well. And then going forward, if you want to follow at 805 Connect, that would be great as well. And I want to first, of course, thank all the people who helped make 805 Connect happen. The Santa Barbara Foundation is our seed funder, and had lunch with them yesterday. They're thrilled at what we're doing. They're thrilled about the 805 conversations. And these are some fantastic businesses. They're all inside the member area. So if you're looking for specific help in any one of these areas, these are really great folks. And we know they would appreciate hearing that you heard about them from 805 Connect. So today, we've got Chris Foley, who we've worked with, for Chris, what, 5 years? You came on our radar as the technical director for TEDx American Riviera.
2010.
Yeah,
2010.
yeah, 2010, 10, 10, 10. We've got a lot of TEDxers on the call, I know, and Chris has been phenomenally helpful to us and to the project. And in various conversations with him, we thought that this idea about your web strategy is probably more important now. Chris, why don't you just set up the conversation before we get going?
Right on. Well, thanks a lot, Mark. Really, this conversation today came from numerous meetings that I've had over the past 2 years. I started to see some patterns with the conversations I was having with all of my prospects and all of my clients, that they were all having the same problems as they were building their web presence and websites and online selling. And it didn't really matter if they had $100,000 in annual revenue or if they had $1 million or 60 million. They were all essentially facing the same blocks. And it all comes down to three things. And the first is understanding user behavior. The second is understanding engagement. And the third is understanding loyalty. And you've heard all these things before,
Sure.
But what really shocked me is how these elements aren't being put in place with regards to online strategy. A lot of this is common in the brick and mortar kind of service provider business world,
Right.
But when it translates to online selling, online web presence, a lot of these things get forgotten somehow.
You know, Chris, on that, it was very interesting that we have, as you know, we build a really deep profile of all the members. And this conversation is not by accident. We've found that where the members need help is in web development and SEO and online presence and e-commerce and all of those things. So we don't have a lot of time to cover all of that, but I think we're going to get the high points. So like, what are things that they can do today? So with that, why don't we actually get started? So for those of you that are new to our conversations, I like the number 5 a lot. So we're going to do 5 questions. We're going to do really short and tight. I've coached Chris to talk in tweets. And so we can get those going.
My turn, right? Yeah, right. The consultant hat goes over to you this time, right?
Exactly. So, Chris, what do you mean by the wrong numbers?
This is the most fascinating question of the 5, and it's also the most important. I see. Well, here's a story, okay? I had a customer come to me a few weeks ago. Her CEO, she's a marketing director, and her CEO had tasked her and her team with acquiring 3,000 new Facebook likes over the course of the next fiscal quarter. And she approached me for help with that. And I said, Okay, I got it. That's interesting. But what does that give you? And there was just sort of this, well, that's my KPI. I need to achieve this to make the executives happy, and this happens all the time. Why do you want 3,000 more Facebook likes, for instance, or Twitter? Whatever that number is. What will that give you? And there's always just this kind of, well, I don't know. We have to have more followers, right? It just stands to reason. So okay, you might be looking at the wrong numbers, and
Mm.
this is the most. I'm going to pull the rug out now. This is the most
Uh-oh.
important conversation in this webinar, and
Okay.
I want to come back to it. Let's go to
Huh.
number 2, because 2, 3, 4, and 5 I think will shed a lot more light on number 1, and we'll come back to
So
number
we'll
1.
circle back.
We'll do it David Letterman style. We'll do number 1 last.
Okay. So what do you mean by post-sale engagement? It seems kind of buzzwordy.
All right. Well, consider that this whole conversation is small fixes that can make
Right.
a big differences, right? Consider that you already have some customers, right?
Right.
I'm
Sure.
assuming that your business is already established. Even if you're a startup, you've got some customers. You've got some customer base. You're doing some transactions.
Right.
Rather than have a long conversation about SEO and SEM and pay-per-click and traffic generation and lead generation, rather than talk about that, we're talking about small fixes, right?
Yeah.
So we're focusing on what you've already got, how to optimize your existing web presence, make it better, make it more effective.
Right.
That means we have to look at your existing customers.
Mm.
What are you doing post-sale? What are you doing? I buy from you. Maybe you're selling goods, and I go to your store and I buy a good, and you ship it to me, and I get a receipt, and the receipt says, here's your invoice, and here's your shipping tracking number, right? Well, what's next? Do you reach out to me? Probably not.
Hmm.
What can be done? These are people that have already, in some way or another, gotten past, because of your best efforts or despite your best efforts, they've hit your website and they've purchased from you, and now they're a customer. And they receive their product, and hopefully it's a good product and they love their product.
Sure.
And maybe they'll return on their own. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll shop at the lowest bidder next time, or maybe they'll just wander into the grocery store and pick it up there. Who knows, right? But what are you doing? Chances are nothing. So this is one of the biggest areas that
And
needs
it sounds
refinement.
simple. Just say thank you.
It's crazy simple.
Okay.
Well, what if you said thank you? So what if you made sure that your shopping cart talks to your MailChimp, your email blast program, whatever you're using, and I buy from you, I'm automatically put on a list. You'd be shocked how many times I'll go into an e-commerce situation and find that the store's not connected to the mail program.
Huh.
Well, that's step
That's simple
one.
too, right? That's easy.
It's crazy. It's crazy simple. Step 2 is making sure that there's some sort of autoresponder email that goes out and says, listen, you bought from us yesterday. Thank you so much.
Right.
Here's a coupon for 10% off your next purchase.
Right.
Right? And you'd be
Simple
shocked to
thing.
see how many times that coupon actually gets redeemed. Another thing that can happen is 7 days later, an email that can go out that says, like us on Facebook. We want you to like us on Facebook because we run a monthly giveaway. And it's nothing big. It's a gift basket of our products. It
Sure.
maybe costs us $15 to give away one gift basket plus shipping, right? But we want to give away one gift basket of our products every single month, right? We want to make sure that you're eligible for the next drawing. Be sure to like us on Facebook. So now the people liking you on Facebook are people who have already purchased from you.
And they're engaged.
They're engaged. They're enthusiastic about the product, about your brand. Now, this is a lot different than getting likes for the sake of having likes.
So then let's move. So after the sale, there's this, we talk a lot about conversion. I'm not sure everybody understands what conversion is. So maybe quickly explain that and then what you mean by the right conversion.
Well, conversions are, very simply put, somebody comes to your site and they are converted into something, right? So they're converted into a customer. They are converted from a visitor into a customer, or they are converted from a visitor into a subscriber.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's a blog, let's say you just have a blog, they're converted from a reader into a commenter.
Oh,
right, so
okay,
they're
sure.
doing something. There's some action involved, and very frequently websites will be put up in an informational way. There are a couple types of websites. One's informational, and another one's a lead generator.
Right.
So
right.
you know, your website wants to be generating leads, but the right conversion is important to understand. Most business owners would answer this question predictably. What's your primary conversion? What's the most important conversion that you would like to have happen in an ideal situation? And the answer almost invariably is, well, I want them to buy from me.
Sure.
Well, that makes sense, right? You're in business. You want them to buy. However, that's more frequently than not going to happen.
Now, this is in your experience when you're talking to these clients and you ask them that question.
Buy from me. That's always the primary conversion is buy from me. And it should be, because you're in business, right?
Right, of course.
But that's not how users behave, especially if I came in from a search. If I came in from paid search or if I came in from organic search. I was interested in something and I Googled it and you came up and I clicked and now I'm on your site. I do not know who you are yet. We have not built
when you say the website,
I, the customer.
Right.
No, I, the customer. I don't know who you are. I'm not familiar with your brand.
First time.
I don't know if you're any good. I don't know if your products are any good. I want to read some testimonials. I want to maybe look at Amazon and see some reviews. There's not trust built yet. But I like what's going on. I like your vibe. The site's designed well. I kind of feel like, yeah, I could do business with you guys. I don't have my wallet out yet. So the most likely conversion is not the most ideal conversion. I might not be ready to buy from you. And if you don't get me now, I'm going to go away and forget about you. And the next time I have this question, I'll Google it again, and I might wind up on another site, a competitor's site.
Right.
So the right conversion, this is so important to understand user behavior, the right conversion may be a newsletter subscription. It might be, hey, get this, let's say that you're in the food business, right? Get our awesome recipe booklet. You can download it now. It's got 30 recipes, and it's free, and you can use it right tonight. You can make dinner with it tonight. Oh, okay, yeah. Sign up for my newsletter isn't compelling, but get my awesome recipe book is compelling.
Sure.
Now you drip the good stuff on me, and that's when we move on to number 4.
Well, Chris, it's interesting because you said to me 5 months ago, we were talking about 805 Connect, and you said, start a newsletter. I said, well, why do a newsletter? And we started that. It's been wildly successful, and it's been it's a lot of work, but it is a constant engagement with people, and we're getting them to do the things. So thank you for that. But I like that idea of newsletters. So number 4, I love this when you say the good stuff free. What do you?
Yeah, so that's just it. It doesn't matter if you're a service provider or if you're selling widgets or products or software. It really doesn't matter. What's important is that you're the expert. You're the expert. Oh. You have the answers. As a customer, you have my back. Your product's going to be good. I'll enjoy it. I'll want to use it, and I'll want to. People buy from people they like. People buy from people they trust. What's important is people buy from people.
Right.
People don't buy from faceless, nameless brands anymore. Yeah, that's trending out. So when I say give away the good stuff for free, I'm talking about it's a win-win. So here's what's really happening. You're telling the customer, you're telling your prospect. Now remember, with the right conversion, they haven't bought from you yet. We've signed them up for a newsletter, and now they're experiencing your content strategy. The content strategy has to be value add. It has to be high value material that does a couple of things.
Yeah, you keep telling me that every week, so
and your newsletter is fantastic. Your newsletter shows that you've been listening, and I really appreciate that. This content strategy does a few things. The first is it provides your prospect or customer with value that they can take into their lives right now for free, regardless of whether there's a sale attached to it.
But why, I've heard this, but why are people reticent? Why are they scared to give away the good stuff?
Because they think that if I get your intellectual property for free, I'm going to run out and create a competing firm. Well, that's not what's going to happen. And you're not giving me your product. You're giving me advice, tips, tricks. What we find is the categories that work really well are like DIY, do-it-yourself, how-tos, tips and tricks. Did you know? That kind of thing. So over the course of however many years you've been in business, you've developed an expertise in your vertical.
Of course.
Give some of that expertise away. This will create trust. It will create enthusiasm. It will
And
create
goodwill.
engagement, goodwill. It will remind them about you, like they may have forgotten about you, and then there's
Right.
the newsletter. But it
Right.
also sets you up as the voice of expertise. It sets you up as the expert. I might not be ready to buy, but when I am ready to buy, you will be the first
Right.
brand on
Because I
my,
like you.
because I like you, I trust you, your tips worked. I
Yeah.
enjoy your newsletter because the voice is funny.
Right.
And
Right.
that goes back to number 3. That's why the right conversion
Right.
could be getting them into your content, into your expertise, into your camp.
There's a great guy I love who talks about relationship economics, and he says you don't want to have transactions, you want to build relationships. And so I think that's what
That's
you've
exactly
said.
it.
So let's
That's
move to
exactly what I
number
said, yeah.
5. So right message, right audience. This is kind of interesting because we talk about this and actually, frankly, struggle with it. Who is your ideal client? Who is this? And so, in the guise of small things to make a big difference, how would you advise people to think about this today?
It's really a matter of understanding your ideal customer. It's important to identify the sort of person you're trying to sell to. And then also identify the sort of person you want to turn into an evangelist for your cause or for your
Mm.
brand. And it really goes back to number 2. It highlights the importance of understanding the needs and pains of the people that are already buying from you. We can talk a lot
Oh,
about recruiting people out of untapped growth markets, but that's another conversation. I'd rather focus on talking about like your existing fan base or your existing customer base. Um, Okay, so here's some context. Consider social media for a moment, right? We used to write letters to the editor, and then blogging happened, and
right.
and would feedback on the comments, and then social media came along, and now would comment on Facebook. Then Twitter happened, and that brought us microblogging, and now there's Pinterest, where we just kind of like point and grunt at things that we like, right? So the like has replaced interaction, but
Yeah,
we
my
feel as though
interaction is just click that button. Oh, I like it. I like it. I
I
like
like
it.
that, right?
I don't have to
We're
burn a lot
connecting.
of calories.
We're connecting here, right?
Yeah.
No, we're not connecting. So we're entering this sort of an era of mute interaction.
Mm.
So if your brand can manage to create some real engagement, you're going to set yourself apart from the pack. Because in many
Wow.
cases, all the other brands are chasing the likes. They're not chasing the loyalty.
Huh.
Loyalty comes out of trust.
Loyalty's love, not like, right? You want them to love you, not like you.
Loyalty comes out of trust. Trust
Uh,
requires engagement and high visibility. So you get likes for a lot of reasons. People will like your thing on Facebook oftentimes because of the color of the graphic you used.
right.
That's not the same as liking the message. So what's really important, and this goes right back to post-sale engagement, you have got to understand the pains. You've got to poll your customers. I need to
Oh.
find out what I could have done better. Why do
Huh.
my customers love me? Why don't they love me enough to buy a second time? This feedback
Mm.
is invaluable.
Mm.
You need to offer them something of value to participate in the dialogue, whether it's a coupon or it's free shipping off their next purchase, or maybe it's an entry into a giveaway, or maybe it's just a free jar of something, right? This approach
Got
is
it.
very common in old brick and mortar services business, but it's not translated well to the online realm, especially in the case of online shopping. There's just not enough follow-up and follow-through happening anymore.
Mm.
So
Chris, I
the
know you
right
forgot
message for the
about
right audience.
question number 1. I'm going to bring you back to that, buddy. Um, so we said you started by saying we're looking at the wrong numbers.
Right.
So in all of this, what are the right numbers?
The right numbers are the ones that bring in revenue,
Hmm.
the ones that bring in subscribers. The numbers that you need to be looking at are how many people are hitting my site? What are
Hmm.
they doing when they hit my site?
Hmm.
How many people are subscribing? How many people are unsubscribing? What message made them unsubscribe? These are the
So I
user
shouldn't
behavior
take my
numbers.
unsubscribers personally because I
No,
get
no, no.
1 or 2 a week. They just like, man, just not ready for me anymore.
Well,
Not
it's
right.
business. It's not personal anyway. My message wasn't right for them. It wasn't the right message for the right audience.
Ah. So it'd be interesting. I wonder, do you suggest like studying that at all to understand who
Mhm.
we talk about who is your customer, but who isn't your customer? So when you see them, you say, oh, no, I don't need
Yeah,
to spend any time. Got it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. So Chris, So we've talked about, you gave us 3 things in the beginning, and then we talked about 5 things. And I like doing this rapid fire because
Hmm.
people are really busy. We want to let them get back to work.
Sure.
So what are your top 3 tips that when people click off, they can go look at their website and even look at other websites, and they can do something this afternoon?
It's a fantastic question.
3 questions.
I would have yeah, fantastic 3 questions. I would have to say first, this is so important throughout your business. Put yourself in the shoes of your customer. It's
Mm,
really difficult to gain objectivity. You lose objectivity really quickly. You live and breathe your business. You're a CEO.
sure.
Right. Get objective. Look at your website. Look at your Twitter, your Facebook, wherever you are. Look at your online presence from the point of view of the customer. What's broken? What's unappealing? What aren't you doing well? What could you be doing better? What are you doing very well? It's very important to maintain a scorecard for yourself, to be really clear, ask the hard
Okay.
questions.
Would it help if I was just thinking, like, if you could get a live customer to sit with you and do that?
Sure,
That would be great, right?
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
what's number 2?
Number two is look at your analytics.
Mm,
You've got to look at your analytics. Numbers don't lie. What gets measured gets managed. If you don't understand your analytics, for the love of God, hire somebody who can look at your analytics and turn them into an executive brief that gives you some insights
oh,
and a roadmap. And that's the third thing is always have a roadmap. So
what do you mean by that exactly?
well, what is there to do next? Even if you're doing well, you could do better. You've got a growth plan,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Well, what are the steps?
Oh,
What do you do next? What do you focus on? And here's why a roadmap is so important. You are invariably doing a lot of things you're not good at. We
huh.
think that we need to be on all the social media channels. Well, maybe you're just not really good at Pinterest. Don't do it. Don't try and spread yourself too thin. If your Instagram is doing really well and bringing subscribers in and bringing people in and engaging, keep focusing on Instagram. But maybe Facebook's not even the right channel for you.
Right, right.
Stop
Now,
putting your
Chris,
energy where it's not working.
54% of the members of 805 Connect are less than 4 people. A lot of solopreneurs, one-person armies, whatever you want to call it. People that are working at home and they're wearing a lot of different hats. So
Mhm.
this idea of overextending is a very real thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
thankfully, 43 of them are listening to us right now. They're going to take some action on this. So what I heard you say was, if we understand we've got the right message, we understand the audience, we're going to take and narrow things down to your very first anecdote. Instead of going after 3,000 people, let's go after the 30 or the 300 that are really
mhm.
moving the needle and driving new business.
Yeah,
Okay.
and do what you're going to do well.
Okay. So, Chris, what I want to do now is a quick little advertisement, if you don't mind. For those who have joined our webinar, 805 Conversations today, I just want to let you know, if you're not a member, it's free. Great things. We have lots of programs to help engage people in the 805, which goes all the way from Paso in the north, all the way to Simi Valley in the south. And it's a huge, fantastic project built as a community resource for everyone in business in the 805. So please check us out. If you are interested in sponsoring our efforts and helping us underwrite some of the projects we have, get a hold of us. We'd love to have your support in that area. Thank you. So now we're going to take questions. So I'm going to look. You just give me a second here. I'm told that John has a great question. Uh, huh. So this one, any suggestions how to ask unsubscribes and why?
Yeah, yeah,
No,
absolutely.
okay. Do that one quick. Oh, or why do they unsubscribe? Oh
Right,
yeah.
yeah, sure, sure. So,
We know.
so MailChimp, Constant Contact, Vertical Response, whatever, they allow inside of the unsubscribe pipeline for you to ask a bunch of questions. There are
Oh,
some
okay.
that are already kind of preset for you,
Right.
and you can add
Oh,
your
you can
own.
edit that.
You can edit it, and you can offer incentives. You can say, hey, listen, we'd really like to talk to you. So where you can edit the unsubscribe email, the final, hey, you're unsubscribed email that comes out, you can also embed a survey in it. You can embed like a survey monkey in there that says, hey, listen, we understand you don't want to be part of it anymore, but here's $5 worth of Amazon gift card or something. We'd really like you to answer this. And if they go through the survey, the final page gives them their coupon code.
Got it.
It's
So
invaluable. Why did you leave?
we've got another John. He said suggestions for testing an idea, new business, and he says and/or A/B testing. How would you suggest testing a hypothesis before investing in the business? And I'll just quickly, I was at Startup SB weekend this last weekend, and there were people from all over the Western United States there. And the host from Find the Best, who's a serial entrepreneur here in Santa Barbara, he said, it's just try stuff, try stuff, try stuff, try stuff, try stuff, try stuff. You know, it's that
Right.
idea of trying and just fail fast, right? So if you're trying something on your website, do you have a strategy for that? Some advice?
Oh yeah, we A/B test pages all the time. Of course, John's question here is more about starting up a new business, which is a whole other conversation. As far as web's concerned, we A/B test everything. When you run an email campaign, if it's a promotion, you're trying to sell some stuff, I will always run. Let's say that you've got 5,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers, doesn't matter. I would send out the first 500. Goes like one version goes out to the first 500 and version B goes out to the next 500, and then MailChimp's smart enough to say, hey, more people did this, so we'll send this version out to the rest of the 9,000.
I've actually seen that, not tried that. So I'm going to
Yeah,
try
it's great.
that next week. So we have another question. Does Chris Foley offer more in-depth group presentations and seminars? Well, I'll answer that for
Yeah.
you. I know you do. We are going to be doing some workshops, 805 workshops. And there's a new brand we announced this morning. We'll be talking more in depth, which is called 805 Live. So Chris, we'd love to invite you to come and do a long form workshop. And I'm guessing that Lester thought that there's a lot of meat here, lots to be discovered. And you can find Chris at foleypod.com, right, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very easy to get a hold of. I've put a contact form on the bottom of every page on my site. All you need to do is scroll down.
Okay.
That's it.
Chris, Emily says, how do you suggest we go about learning analytics? I haven't a clue and
Yeah.
don't know where to start. Yeah, I hear this a lot.
Yeah, I'm not a numbers guy. I mean, I understand numbers, but I would almost rather get teeth pulled than actually do data analytics myself. So I've got a guy, right? I have
Right.
an analytics guy. He's one of my partners. His name's Tyler, and he's brilliant. He's one of the best, one of the smartest Google Analytics guys I know. And he also runs all of my SEO, SEM campaigns. So when I need something done, I just go to him, and he gives me back a dumbed down report from me,
Right.
full of images and graphs, and so that I can say, okay, here's what I need to do, and I bring him in on all of my client projects. So I'm the designer, and I'm the builder, and I'm the strategist, and he's the analyst. And
Got it.
inside of that, we're able to take numbers and turn them into ideas that make a difference. So
Perfect.
the answer is hire somebody, and if you want me to put you in touch with Tyler, just contact me via my site, and I'll connect the two of you.
And if they just want to dip their toe in the water, I know that on the Google Analytics site, there's a lot of videos there and some
Yeah.
things, but it does get overwhelming pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
There's a quick question for me from someone who put a great name in, Who Dat. So it's someone from New Orleans. They say, is 805 Connect
Who
for
dat?
profit? It is not for It's not a non-profit, but it's not a business. It's a community resource. It's supported by partners and sponsors. And we're looking to build a long-term economic model for this so that it can get parked and become a resource for the community for years to come. So that's why we're coming up with various projects and products and things that will help us be self-sustaining. So I want to tease next month. Next month's going to be great. We do this on the last Wednesday of the month. So just so you know that at 2:30 in the afternoon, we do post these if you can't make it. But we've been talking to a guy in town, someone I've known for 20 years now, Robert Tenike. His company's called The Core Idea, and this gets back to your target, the right message, the right audience.
Right.
He's all about the right message, and in fact, I think through our TEDx heritage, it's about your idea worth spreading, and we've been talking about brand because that is the number 3 thing that members have the hardest time with is understanding marketing and branding. So he says your logo is not your brand. the story that people are saying about you, that's your brand. You don't tell people, they tell you. This is going to be a fascinating conversation. We'll do the same format. So I want to
Robert knows
thank
branding, man.
everybody.
He knows branding.
Oh my God. I want to thank Chris. I want to thank you. I want to thank our partners and our attendees. Go to Foley Pod for web strategy. If you learn something today, please tell someone. This is all grown organically. So hope you'll join us next month and you'll tell a friend about this and that you learned something. And then the replay will be up probably in a couple of hours at Web Strategy. And again, I want to thank everybody. Love these 805 conversations. I'm glad we're having them. Chris, thanks so much. Take care.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.